Hi, this is Conrad Zimmerman of FistShark Marketing, reminding you that this show only exists thanks to the financial support of fans like you. Want to help us out? Visit patreon.com/FistShark or click the Patreon link at fistshark.com to learn more about how to pledge a small monthly contribution. And thanks for listening. Let's see here. Dean's late. Kilmer's late.
Of course.
Feldman's paid again.
What? You know, I really shouldn't be surprised. He's the most reliable client. His checks come in and clear every time, and I'm never not shocked.
You look at the career, you look at what he does. I mean, it's not much of anything in the last 25 years except wandering around looking for pornography.
I mean, that's what he seems to do, 9 to 5. I mean, he's strict about clocking off at 5, but, you know, he talks about how acting is his bread and butter and how it keeps him going and pays the bills, but I'm like, how? How?
Are we talking about Brian Feldman?
No, Corey.
Corey Feldman.
Corey Feldman. Who? Corey Feldman? Who is Corey Feldman exactly? I think I have a vague recollection.
He's the sharp-faced living vampire kind of fellow that you see wandering around here sometimes.
Oh, kind of that ghostly, sick, looks to be hurt, looks to be in pain.
Yeah, with the kind of swampy smell.
Oh, and he's an actor, you say? An actor?
Allegedly. He claims so and has the money to prove it. And for a long time, we can't work out how. Because every time I see him, he's, standing in a room, just making the air around him humid from just existing.
Yeah, I've never really seen him do anything that could be construed as a service for pay.
Yeah, I mean, I won't deny he's got good acting skills, like when you talk to him about his career, about money, about things he should and shouldn't do in polite society. He acts like he understands, and he's really good at it. I think when I say something about him, like, you can't throw chewing gum at pigeons, that it's sinking in. He says, absolutely, I get it, that's wrong. It's litter, and the pigeons don't deserve it. And then he'll run straight out and start doing it.
He's a bit of a rebel.
Yes.
I think that's part of his image, and that's something he's always wanted to maintain.
But when he looks at you, like butter wouldn't melt in his cold, dead mouth. Like, your heart melts.
Yeah, he's just adorable.
So he's great at acting like he won't hurt someone or hurt something. But in acting for money in a movie or a TV show or the stage... I
can't say the last time I've seen him do it.
It says here he was in Rock and Roll High School Forever, a movie. Technically a movie. That was some time ago though, guys. He was looks like he was in The Goons. He played Dick Benedict's son.
No. He had a career of acting at one point, but he hasn't in so long in any capacity that I'm aware of.
And he still pays us. He pays us every month.
He always has money. Dean Cain is in our yard right now eating garbage. And yet Corey Feldman is paying on time every time.
How does he do it? I'm very curious about it.
In all honesty, I have this feeling that Corey Feldman is simply the luckiest man alive.
Well, that could be. I mean, he always does manage to find his way to the bog. That's
it. I mean, Corey Feldman, Paulson, and actually, can I call you Paul?
Sure. Yeah, you can call me Paul.
Okay, just I knew a Paulson once, and he was the son of a preacher man!
I see. So for Feldman's luck to be certifiable, we would have to take a measure of how often he gets what he wants, and it seems like that's almost always. Is that right?
I think he's batting 1,000. Like constant.
Is it so much that he gets what he wants, so much as he gets what works out for him to be advantageous?
That might be true, yeah, because, I mean, certainly he doesn't know his way around the city.
Right.
That's his biggest problem. But it's never a problem, because as lost as he gets, we just turn up at the bog by 4 p.m. and he's there with a packed lunch that someone just gave him, and he's ready to go home and sleep in the Feld mansion, which he always manages to pay upkeep on. To be honest, I've been considering bringing him down to FistShark Labs and having them just, like, tinker around with him, like, see if there's some sort of lucky juice that's just part of his innate being, like an essential oil that he secretes. Because, I mean, I look back on his personal history. I mean, did you know he used to be in the investment game?
What?
Stock, shares, trading, all that. He knows nothing about it. He barely knows what money is. He knows if you wave the green square things, he doesn't even know they're rectangular, people give him drinks. That's about the extent of his knowledge of money goes. And yet, in 2002, invested in Apple.
Nobody was going to invest in Apple in 2002. They were at the bottom. Who could have seen that coming?
Do you know how he did it?
How?
Company names on a wall and a dart.
No.
That's lucky. That is lucky.
He was big into housing, again, via the DART method. Lots of investments in housing. In 2008, just before the crash, pulled out. Why? Had an argument with his stockbroker, took all his money and left.
So he foresaw the crash, that's what you're saying.
No. They had an argument over what was better, Thundercats or Gummy Bears.
How long did that argument... I mean, it's not much of an argument. You either...
15 days.
15-day argument.
He drew charts.
I'd love to see those charts. It seems so straightforward. You either enjoy one more than the other, but...
No. Don't let him hear you say that, because if he leaves the company, if he leaves our services, then I have a feeling something terrible will happen. Right now, I am scared to do anything that Corey Feldman would react against, advise against. Not because I think he's smart or indeed knows anything. He had an Indiegogo page for an album recently, and I don't think he even knows how to spell Indiegogo. And if you think that went wrong, because the Indiegogo did not make its crowdfunding payment, did you know that yesterday Boston banned albums?
Boston banned all albums.
Yep. So that failed Indiegogo for the new album. Lucky break.
Yeah, because then he would have had to refund the money.
He would have had to pay a fee.
So if Corey Feldman decides to do something and you get in the way, you are doomed, is what you're saying.
Kind of, yeah. I'm not sure whether that's like the right cause and effect. Like, you do something that pisses off Corey and you're doomed. More that if you take the low road and he takes the high road, okay, the low road is probably full of alligators and fire. So it's like, wherever he goes, you should probably just go along with him. Because wherever he goes, good fortune seems to follow. Fortune favors the Feldman.
Right, but the downside to that is that you can't ever tell whether it's some personal strange desire that Feldman has to do something, or, you know, a necessary action that will either prevent your death or provide some personal benefit. Like, you can't discern.
This is true. It's and again, this is why I'm hoping we can, like, find some scientific reason for the luck. So to maybe, like, turn it into a cologne or something. Because right now, obviously, you know, it just benefits Corey. You know,
right.
It might end up lucky for him that you fall in front of a train and you're splashed across the tracks. Bad for you, great for Corey. Somehow, the universe will alter itself so that he comes out on top. So I don't think there's anything we can do as people to benefit from his good favour yet. But if we take him into the care of Dr. Nightscream for a few weeks, you know, they can poke around inside him, extract some fluids, and maybe we can get some sort of liquid Feldman that people can apply to their bosoms, like a Vicks Vapor Rub. And they might get a little bit of his luck.
I sort of just want to stitch myself to him. Is that weird?
No, I kind of get that desire as well.
Yeah.
I do I do wish I was, like sewn to him, like my head, like, sewn to his back or something. I wouldn't even mind.
I wonder if he'd mind. I guess that's the question.
That's the question. Would Corey Feldman mind? / no. He might not notice. We're talking about a man who was once stabbed 36 times in a nightclub by a deranged junkie who, in a moment of panic, took the body, bundled it into the boot of his car, drove him into the forest, threw him in a ditch. Corey Feldman, having survived, woke up to find himself on a collection of first print pogs.
What are the odds?
Exactly, and there were just enough doubles of the pogs that he could keep all of them in mint condition, but use the spares to plug up the holes.
In his body?
Yes, until medical attention arrived. A passing ambulance convention just rolled on by as he stumbled out the forest. And the leader of that convention, leading the parade through town, Neil deGrasse Tyson. He got an autograph.
No.
Yep.
Wow. That is incredibly good luck.
The results are in, and I do believe we have enough to nail this sucker.
No way.
Mm-hmm. The study's been conducted. George Michael is going to get a rather rude awakening this Wednesday when he gets served the summons that we've all been working towards.
Serves him right, okay?
Yep.
He had a lot of fucking nerve leaving us. A lot of fucking nerve.
George Michael left us. One of the reasons I kept working here was because George Michael was one of our clients. Are you saying he's gone? What happened?
Oh, no. We're gonna get him back. We're gonna get him back. You gotta have faith.
Gotta have faith. But he's gone? What?
Yep, he left us for the Crab Brothers in May of last year. Seems to believe that they can take care of him better than we can. Because apparently they can get him work, and they respect his music. Whatever that is.
Son of a bitch.
I know, exactly.
That is frustrating. Yeah. I'm very upset. How can we... So what are we going to get him on? How are we going to get back at him?
Right, well, the senior partners charged us specifically with exacting the most petty, vengeful torments that we could for any client who leaves us. And we have been working round the clock with FistShark Legal to see if there's some way we can get him in a court of law for a civil case, and we actually have a class action lawsuit drawn up against him. Here's what we did, and I'm very proud, because this was a personal pet project of mine, but we've recently been playing some Daft Punk, some Robin, some Foo Fighters in some local prisons. And we're talking like some of the real bad bastards of Boston, like muggers, violent armed robbers, thugs, really some of the most vicious and nasty criminals in the justice system today. And we found out guilty feet do have rhythm. See you in court, Mr. Michael, liar!
So wait. So we played music for people who are guilty of various crimes and found that their feet could dance?
Not just that, but we are talking like angels, like cherubs from the sky on ice water gilded by the gods themselves.
What if all the feet don't have rhythm, though? I mean, is it conclusive? Do we know?
This is the really almost scary part, because it was so conclusive. I've never seen a study with 100% success rate. I'll say one thing for the Butcher of Boston, right? He may chop women up into tiny, tiny little pieces, eat some of those pieces, and dump the rest in a skip. But my God, you've never seen a better Gangnam Style.
What's amazing about all this is that there's no rehearsal, no preparation. They can just all do this.
They just take to it. They're naturals.
And there's precedence for this behavior before. Now, there were some studies performed in Europe where they played Thriller for a prison population, and they all managed to break out into a coordinated Thriller-style zombie dance. It was incredibly impressive. But you know, this there were rumors that was staged, you know, and all of that. But here now, having something a little more conclusive.
Exactly. Before it was always anecdotal. I mean, we've all heard the news that you know, whenever My Two Dads would play on the prison TV, Jeffrey Dahmer's lively jibes would make a grown man weep.
Right, sure. Everyone knows that.
I don't want to spoil the pre-success we're celebrating, but maybe it's just the killers and freaks and criminals who have the rhythm and not necessarily their feet. They could just be telling their feet to dance, but the feet themselves don't have rhythm. Is that possible?
We've anticipated your concerns. This is why we've made this a watertight case. When asked how these criminals got so good at dancing, all of them said, "Feet, can I have my $10 now?"
To a man. Every single one of them.
Did they know that that's what we were studying, though? Their feet? Were they aware that that was the purpose of the study?
Absolutely not. Probably.
Well, I'm looking at some photos of the study. There's a big banner that says, "How much rhythm are in your feet? We'll pay you if your feet have rhythm in them."
Well, I mean, we did have to have them sign a release.
Yeah, and that banner, there's no telling how long that banner's been up. I didn't see it in the communal hall when I went there.
No, I don't remember it.
I didn't see it.
I think it's because you were on the other side of it. I mean, it's just,
I think I was too busy looking at the beautiful dancers.
Such talent in that room that day.
And that's what really strikes to the heart of this issue. How many killers and muggers and robbers and just how many of these so-called evil people could have gone on to have wonderful, bountiful, profitable careers as dancers and dance instructors had they not been misled by George Michael when he said that their feet would never dance again.
Mm-hmm. He's basically responsible for crime, is what you're saying.
He possibly invented crime.
He's in his 60s, I believe, and crime has, reportedly been around for longer than that, but we don't know
I
certain.
first heard of crime in 1987.
And when did
That's when I
George Michael
first heard about it.
And Wham hit the airwaves at what? 1986? Something like that. Yeah.
Something like that.
Yeah, probably true.
There's correlation there, I think.
And George Michael's allegedly in his 60s.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
There's no telling that, he could be 100. He could be Noah, for all I know.
Exactly. Like, I have no proof.
Yeah, we need blood tests.
Right.
I want to see his birth certificate. Are you George Michael or are you Noah? Let's finally answer that question, please. That'll come out in court. That'll be a bad look for him. Knew about a flood, didn't tell us.
We should probably test the birth certificate, test the blood of the birth certificate to make sure that it checks out.
I want to know whether that's the birth certificate or Kane.
Yeah, is it the abridged birth certificate?
Who knows?
I want the full one.
Who knows what secrets George Michaels has got, like hiding in his closet with all of his skeletons that he probably collects.
Come to think of it, I don't understand how he could have done that song in the first place. You've seen his feet. They got rhythm.
They do.
Yeah.
And he's guilty.
I mean, he has to have known.
I wonder, I'm still fascinated with the idea of these feet and the potential within them. Would any of those criminals, any of those convicts be willing to, I don't know, donate their feet to us to see if they dance on their own? If they do have rhythm?
Well, they're criminals. Nobody would miss them if we sent Dr. Nightscream down there with a bag and a bread knife
and a banner that says, "Give us your feet, we'll give you money."
Yeah, I hear those banners are really popular in that particular jail.
This could be a 2-for-1. This could be bagging down hard on George Michael because of his lies about feet, and also a new line of dismembered dancing feet. Used to belong to a guy who stabbed your dad.
Have you heard of the difficulty that Jim Davis has been having with the Associated Press?
Wait, Jim Davis having difficulty? That doesn't make any sense. He's been doing Garfield for 40 years or something.
I know. And like any creative, Jim Davis has felt for a while that his material's gotten a bit stale. You know, you do a 3 to 4 panel comic every week of a lazy, cynical cat. You eventually, after about 40 years, you run out of steam just doing the same thing over and over again. It's the classic 40-year itch.
Sure.
Yeah,
sure, I
yeah.
can see that.
You know,
yeah, all right.
It's understandable. But Davis, he ain't a man to sit on his laurels.
Well, but, I mean, the Associated Press should be psyched for that.
Something fresh, a new direction for Garfield.
Right, something to re-energize the brand. I mean, sure. Granted, they have the over 75 audience of people who are still reading newspapers locked in, but hey, something that to sort of entice a different crowd or invoke a new energy into it certainly can't hurt at this point.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hand you the manuscript.
Okay.
Have a look at this and tell me what you think.
Okay, let's see. It's pretty typical Monday. Oh my God.
I hate to peek over your shoulder, but I'm peeking.
No, please, Conrad, do show him.
I'm really peeking. Woof.
Look at that, Paulson. That's I mean, I can't believe where he's going with this.
Yeah, not to mention the detail. It's a level of texturing that I've never seen in a Garfield comic before.
No, he is absolutely pushing the boundaries of his talent and ability as an artist.
The man was fired up.
Yeah, no, clearly.
Yeah.
Clearly. And
do you want to know what he's calling this whole thing? What he considers his magnus opus?
I mean, and I can't argue, by the way. This is emotional,
it's powerful.
Riveting stuff. Powerful. What is he calling it?
Garfield does anal.
Descriptive. It's true.
Descriptive, short, to the point.
And he's right. There's no. I mean, it does, but it's so much more than that.
Well, yes, I think that really captures the beauty of the piece, in that Garfield Does Anal focuses exclusively on the amount of anal sex that's in that comic you just looked over. But really, it's just a small keyhole glimpse into a wider story, which is poignant, effective, but also, in typical Davis style, funny as fuck.
There is nobody that knows how to elicit a laugh.
Right?
Like Jim Davis.
I hate Mondays, but I love anal. Classic goof.
And it's long, this story. This is not... I was expecting a 4-panel, maybe a week of 4-panel stories. This is a 2,800-page long comic strip. One continuous strip.
I mean, he wants it to continue, like a serial, like Mandrake, or that one about the dude who plays soccer and has a load of sex.
But the anal starts on panel 3.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah.
Of course, I haven't read the whole thing, but I've flipped through.
Yeah, it starts with Garfield saying, "I hate Mondays." The second one is him saying, "I love lasagna." The third one, straight hardcore penetrative anal sex with OD.
And then here by page 50, geez, I don't know who's in his mouth there. It's grayish.
Yeah, I think it's around that page that Orson's farm pops in.
Oh.
And they just run a train on Garfield. Even the egg, which is weird, but somehow he made it work.
I'm seeing here, it looks like a robot, but it's a dick, I guess? And it looks like it's attached to the veterinarian character whose name escapes me at the moment.
Liz.
Thank you.
But what you see is Dickbot 3000 has the brain of the clown, which Garfield used to have a terrible fear of.
Right.
But learned throughout this whole story arc that a clown is just a robot dick that hasn't had its brain taken out yet. And then he does anal with it.
I mean, he grows as a character.
As does his asshole.
That's dilated, like, 5 times.
Oh, you could fit a melon in that sumbitch.
This is only by page 850. I can't imagine.
Oh, you wait until people start tripping and falling in.
There's gonna be a full prolapse. Halfway through this, I can tell. Yeah.
There is a, what shall we say, divulgence. But what really speaks to me about Garfield Does Anal is for the amount of anal that's in Garfield Does Anal. The anal is really just a small part of it. Even though, to an outside observation, it's all anal.
Well, no, but it's all about the people, right? I mean, these are real stories about real people, and how they interact together.
And the anal they do.
Right. But in a lot of ways, the anal's just a metaphor, right?
Of course it is, Conrad. Of course it is.
I mean, there's a lot of literal anal, too. But it's just a construct for everything else that's going on here. And when you see what ultimately happens to Nermal, God, it's dark. But at the same time, he's learning to cope with his own inadequacies. And Garfield helps him, helps him to achieve, well, orgasm.
Yeah. I mean, that's the whole point of it, I think. It's not so much about anal as it is about us all achieving the orgasms in our lives.
Right.
Which is a metaphor, obviously.
So what's the problem?
Associated Press don't like the shade of orange they used for Garfield.
Ah. And Davis won't compromise.
Not at all. He says it's a bold new colour.
It's tragic.
Yep. Well, we gotta burn this.
FistShark Marketing is Jim Sterling, Conrad Zimmerman, and Paulson Sear. Theme music by Ben Rama. Additional music by Alazar Chand. Our editor is Alan Smithy. Get more episodes and learn how to support the show at FistShark.com. Follow us on Twitter at FistShark for more of our exploits. Complaints can be forwarded via email to fistsharkmarketing@aol.com. And remember, money talks, bullshit sells. Goodbye.